It's a special edition of our first NBC video update. Lenny, Vangilder, Ken Trahan, as we take a look at the best 2 days of the high school calendar every year. Friday and Saturday in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. It's the LHSAA State Farm Prep Classic. 5 state championship games in football in the span of a little more than 24 hours. Things get underway Friday at 4 o'clock with the 1A championship, followed by the 4A title game, and then on Saturday, things kick off at noon. It'll be 2A, then 3A, and then 5A. So let's work our way through this thing, Ken, in chronological order. Let's start with the 1A game. Before we get into anything, are you amazed that the seeds have held in all 5 classes? We've got 1 versus 2 everywhere this weekend.
Well, I'm not amazed, but I'm really pleased. I think it's fantastic, and I think it's vindication of the system that exists here in Louisiana being the best system that there is, with the one tweak that I would make, which is that the higher seed should be the home team in all circumstances. That said, when you end up this way, unquestionably, you've done the job. It worked out great. Some were close, but they're here, and, this is fantastic. First time it's ever happened. Let's get to it.
Starting in 1A, Ouachita Christian and Haynesville, both making their way from North Louisiana down to the Dome for a 4 o'clock Friday kickoff. Your thoughts on this game?
Well, OCS won last year. They won 3, and Stephen Fitzhugh has a real machine going there. They rallied to beat Rayville earlier this year when they were way down, and that kind of changed everything and set them on a course for a perfect season. And they've alternated quarterbacks. Braden Bristow and Saul Graves' son, who's been really good, has really kind of taken over the number 1 spot. Bristow then moves outside the receiver where he's really good and gives them another weapon. So they're a dangerous team that can score a lot of points. Haynesville, 15 state championships. Listen, they are second all-time in the history of Louisiana prep football and state titles. Cannot sell them short. Great win over West St. John last week, 36-35. This is the all-North Louisiana matchup, and it's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday, so this is the one that figures to be least populated in terms of attendance in the Dome. I like OCS to win it again.
Go to the Friday night game and what I think could be the best game of the whole weekend. Again, it's 1 and 2, Neville and Carr. I think these two are so evenly matched. Rivals.com has these two teams ranked 1 spot apart in their top 100. That tells you how much they think it's evenly matched. Your thoughts?
Well, John Diarse is a great player. He's signed with LSU. He's a tremendous runner. Really good passer. He won't play quarterback at LSU, but he's such a good athlete. He can play anywhere, and he's been a tremendous player for Neville. He was good in the game last year against Carr. Solarius Jones can really run the ball. He's fast, but this Carr defense is impregnable. I mean, they are really good. They average giving up less than 7 points a game. They're big. They're fast. And, of course, on offense, Speedy Noel is a marvelous player, the fastest player I've seen, bar none, in the state this year. If he gets on the edge in any way, shape, or form in space, you're going to have trouble with him. Now, Neville is the one defense that can pursue and get him. He got hurt last year against Neville in the second quarter, and it kind of changed the game. If he stays healthy, I give Carr a very good chance. I mean, listen, Mickey McCarty's done a great job at Neville. They're battle-tested. Their defense is great. Also, this figures in my mind to be a defensive game, not very high scoring. I picked Carr before the season started. I'm going to stick with them to win it all. I think they're motivated. I think they match Neville's speed, and they're bigger.
Should be a great one. Friday night, 8 o'clock. Now, we'll get a few hours sleep, come back Saturday at noon. John Curtis goes for their 25th state championship as they take on their longtime nemesis in Class 2A, Evangel.
And they'll get it. I don't see any way they don't win this game. I just think they're the better football team. Evangel is every bit as good offensively as they've been in the past when they were fantastic. They have Dakota Duron, a 3-year starter who can throw every route. Everything's timing. He has great receivers in Cornelius and in Trent Taylor, and he's got Javin Webb, a New Orleans native, who's a terrific running back. They can move the ball and score, although the Curtis defense is tremendous. They give up fewer than 4 points a game on the year, which is just hard to fathom. And the Curtis offense is dynamite. They spread it around running the ball. Patrick Morton did not even have an interception until last week on the season. And, of course, Malachi Dupree's a great receiver. Their offensive line, physical. Eric Thomas is out, broke his ankle, so Curtis will miss him, but they have such depth. It won't matter. They'll win this game and get number 25.
Middle game on the card on Saturday, Class 3A, and again it's 1 and 2. It's Notre Dame coming over from Crowley to take on Parkview Baptist.
Well, this is the matchup that everyone anticipated, myself included, and I went back and forth on picking a winner on this one before the playoffs started. I ultimately picked Parkview Baptist, but felt like it'd be a jump ball game, and I still kind of feel that way. Notre Dame's gotten stronger as the playoffs have gone on. They got their fullback back. He's huge. He makes a difference. They got out of there against East Feliciana last week with a 2-point win. Parkview Baptist had their test in the second round with Bruley, and they have coasted since then. Parkview Baptist, I think, has a slight physical edge in this game. It isn't much. I mean, this game could go either way, and you hedge to pick a team. I'm going to pick Parkview Baptist and stick with my initial pick, although I have enormous respect for Louis Cook and the job he does.
And finally, 8 o'clock Saturday night, it all wraps up with the Class 5A championship game. It's the number 1 seed Archbishop Rummel taking on the 2 seed Barb.
And I think anyone that looks at this game thinks it's going to be a high-scoring game, which when Rummel's involved is really kind of surprising because their defense is so good, giving up just over 10 points a game. But the Barb offense is unparalleled. They're the best offense in Louisiana in any class, in my opinion. And Kenneth Fontenot runs this three-ring circus of sorts that is really almost impossible to deal with. They have Trey Quinn, who's the best receiver in the state, and being recruited by virtually everyone. He's only a junior, and Deshaun Smith, a senior who's committed to LSU. Their offensive line is good. They run the ball extremely well. Very, very hard to deal with. It all comes down to Rummel's offense being able to not only score, but keep the ball in doing so against Barb's defense, which has cracked on several occasions this year. They have some physical talent there, but this Rummel offense is built to be able to sustain drives, keep the ball, and score. That's their personality. If Rummel plays to their potential, I think they've got a very good chance to win. If they don't, Barb will definitely win. Asked to make a pick, I picked Rummel in a very close game that figures to be in the 60s or 70s in terms of points.
Should be a great weekend of high school football. We'll have coverage for you all weekend long here at sportsnola.com, including you can follow the 3 local teams, Carr, Curtis, and Archbishop Rummel. We'll have audio streams of the broadcast that you will have on WGSO. You can link those as well through our site at sportsnola.com, plus coverage, as we say, of every one of these games.
Yeah, let me make sure people know. We'll be on the air at 6:05 Friday night with our original prep football report live from the Dome, and that will lead right into the Carr game against Neville, 7:30 pregame, 8 o'clock play-by-play. And then Saturday morning, Ed Daniels and I with the 3 Tailgaters show live from the Dome at 10:05, into the pregame show at 11:30 of Curtis and Evangel, and at 7:30 pregame for Rummel Bar, play-by-play at 8. So we'll be having breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the Dome, and we'll be paying for it.
Something like that. Have a great weekend. I know this is, like we've said before, your favorite time of the year.
Awesome. It's great. We look forward to it. We encourage people to go because we love to see you in the seats and make this a big success.
Enjoy your weekend and stay with us here at sportsnola.com for much more coverage of the Prep Classic.